So if you remember, there were a ton of leaks that dropped just a few months ago that show a game that is allegedly in development by Valve called Deadlock. Now this is apparently going to be a 6v6 hero-style shooter. Of course, very similar in my opinion to like a Team Fortress 2, but it's interesting because I think there's kind of a difference between a class-based and a hero-based shooter. I think more people would classify TF2 as a class-based shooter. This is apparently supposed to be a hero-based shooter. Regardless, yeah, the screenshots showed what looks like a very cool, very ambitious game. And then not long after that, Valve trademarked the name Deadlock, and they trademarked it under the category of, quote, entertainment services, namely providing online video games. So people kind of put two and two together and said, oh, these screenshots of this hero-style shooter, it's going to be Deadlock. That is going to be the name of it. Now, these screenshots were apparently leaked from a very small beta test, or I guess you could call it an alpha test. From what it sounds like, there were around 1,000 players in this small playtest. Now, I don't know if all of them worked for Valve at the time or if they were contracted by Valve, but regardless, yeah, at least one of them was the mole, we don't know who. Now, this is what's crazy. So you can go to Steam Database or SteamDB. Now, keep in mind this website tracks statistics of games through Steam, but it is not technically officially affiliated with Valve or Steam. So keep in mind all of the info on that website is, technically alleged, but all of the stats for pretty much every other game on Steam are like right on point. I mean, they're always accurate. So on Steam Database, there is a back-end sort of version of this Deadlock game that they have been able to track since July. Now, here's the thing. You can see that it has been sitting at 1,000 or maybe up to 2,000 players since early August, specifically since August 2nd, 9 days ago. Now, ever since then, it has been really, really rising, and it hit a very huge peak today. It hit a peak of over 16,000 players. Actually, just 53 players shy of 17,000. Yeah, now remember, 9 days ago, it was sitting at 2,000 steady. People have caught on to this, and a lot of people are saying, what gives? Like, what in the world is going on? I mean, obviously, the playtest that began just a month or two ago with 1,000 players has extremely spiked in, like, the last week now, and yet the game is still unannounced. And as far as I can see, I don't see, like, a ton of people talking about this game, like people who have access to this alleged secret beta or secret playtest. I'm seeing some people talk in the Deadlock subreddit about how they're getting like these invites from Valve to join the beta test, but I'm not actually seeing like screenshots of it, so I don't know like if there's some sort of agreement you have to abide by if you get into one of these beta tests that you will not leak any screenshots. I don't really know how that works, but at this point, yeah, it's just really weird that it's like the elephant in the room that Valve is obviously working on this game. We obviously know what it is, what it's called, and it just hasn't been announced yet. It's very bizarre. I have no stats to prove this, but like I've got to say this is probably like the biggest beta of an unannounced game that has ever happened. I'd love to know if there was a bigger one, for an unannounced game. I mean, almost 17,000 players, that is crazy. But yeah, I really think, like I said, the game has a lot of promise. Some people have been saying this game might end up like Half-Life 3, where it just is kind of a secret and it's just like never actually announced, it never actually comes out. I do not think that's the case at all, though. I think that clearly, with now the huge playtest, I think it's only a matter of time before they announce this game. I'd be shocked if it's not announced by the end of this month, and I'm very curious when it's going to come out and what it will do to the whole ecosystem of online first-person shooters. There's definitely a lot of them, but Valve is Valve. They make great games, great shooters, and I have no doubt they are working to make this game legendary.